find conversion rates to be, for the most part, not a very useful metric in terms of telling me what I need to do in order to improve my business. It's kind of like knowing the average height of men that live in a 5 mile radius from where I live. There's very little actionable insight there. Like, I'll tell you what I think is a very useful metric. You need to create two segments: people that stayed on the website for under 10 seconds and people that stayed on the website for over 10 seconds. And both of these segments give you completely different types of insights. So, more than 10 seconds is a really, really useful thing because at the end of the day, my job as a marketer is to persuade shoppers or persuade visitors to buy. And persuasion doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens based on some baseline engagement. I can't improve the engagement of someone who's not engaged at all, right? So the 10-second threshold is a good threshold. If someone spent 10 seconds or more on my website, I think I have a fighting chance to persuade them. So that's a very useful metric. But the other one, under 10 seconds, is also a very useful metric for a very specific source of traffic, which is my paid advertising. Because here's the thing: advertising and conversions are two different things. Advertising is, how do I kind of entice someone to who is either searching for the type of product I'm selling or is just on social media browsing? How do I get them to stop scrolling and be intrigued enough to click on my ad and bring them to my website? I think that should be measured completely differently from conversion rates, because that's a different skill set. I mean, the ability to get people in the door to the website is something we should measure uniquely for just, I think that's the goal. So by looking at the segment of people that stayed less than 10 seconds, it actually shows me the effectiveness of my advertising. The number of people that are on my site, if that percentage is very small, let's say only 4% of people are on my website for less than 10 seconds, that means that my ad perfectly matches up with what my product actually is, which I actually don't think that's the job of advertising. If you look at advertising as a funnel, I need to get more people into the funnel. That's the job of advertising. So I think advertising should be measured based on what percentage of people that come to my website are satisfying that leaving in 10-second bucket. So I'm looking for some kind of a threshold. I don't want to be super high and I don't want it to be super low. Super low means we're not doing enough creating sizzle, getting people into the store. So I'm using the under 10-second bucket specifically to measure my ad efficacy and to see if we're pushing hard enough. The over 10-second bucket I'm using purely to understand how effective my persuasion is. And it's a metric that I want to continue working on. So let's say that right now, the conversion rate, so I'm looking at the conversion rate now of people that are spending more than 10 seconds. Let's say it's like 4.7%, and it's 4.7% currently. I want to keep on systematically working on it so I can take it from that number to 5% to 5.5% to 6%. So systematically working on that number is very meaningful, and those are the two segments that I would focus on. What do you think?